One thing I did notice, honey, I think we actually answered this question.
We did.
And I didn't even derail the conversation.
No, you didn't.
Not once. That is so uncharacteristic of me.
You can be taught.
Oh. This one time.
So, this one time.
This one time?
You know what? This one time.
This one time.
Oh my God, this one time?
The podcast.
Hi, ShEvo. Thanks for all the entertaining and informative podcasts. Since both of you have some experience teaching in Thailand, could you give us some advice and tips about what to expect and how to approach the mentality of Thai students, other Thai teachers, and parents? Because I know it's very different from ours here in the States. If you could give us examples of specific situations and how you both dealt with them, that'd be much appreciated. Thanks in advance.
That's a great question. Thanks for asking. I'm Sheila D.
And I am Evo Terra. We are ShEvo. You are listening to This One Time, the podcast. What a prescient question, my dear.
Yes, it is. Are you going to tell them about?
Well, no, but let's get to the question at hand, right? The question at hand, thank you again, caller, as Sheila just mentioned. Yes, as you have noted, we are both teachers in Thailand.
Yes.
Which I have just recently come to terms with, even though I've been doing it since I got here. And even before I left America, I was a teacher.
Yes. I kind of forced you into that, didn't I?
Yeah, I just never have thought of myself that way, which, to do a slight segue, which I know is unusual for me, or I got not a segue, but more of a non sequitur. For the longest time, I didn't consider myself a writer, even after I had written and published a book.
You kind of have to have things smacked upside the head before you acknowledge them.
I am not all that bright. So for the people that are wondering at home exactly what it is that we're talking about, as I mentioned, I am a teacher. I teach adults how to do digital marketing type stuff at an adult learning center, right? There's people who come here to get trained in how to do relevant web skills. That's what I do here in Bangkok. You, my love.
I work at a primary school where I teach computers, and I'm the assistant head of foreign affairs, which kind of makes me the assistant principal. Yeah, so I work with a lot of kids, about 550 of them.
You have been a teacher forever.
Yes.
This is your profession. It's what you do.
It is. It's what I love doing.
This is the second school you've taught at here in Thailand?
In Thailand, yeah.
So you definitely are a real teacher. You consider yourself a teacher.
Yes.
Me, I realize now I am a teacher, and so this question is good for both of us. So I believe what he was looking for was three different things. One, how the students here in Thailand are.
Right.
You want to take a first stab at that, my love?
Sure. I find that the students are way more polite and are much more courteous to their teachers, specifically any authority figure. They why to them.
That means put their hands together and bow.
And so every time they go into a classroom, they why their teachers. When a teacher gets ready to leave a classroom, because our kids stay in a classroom and we actually move to them.
The teachers move around.
The kids will stand up and say, "Thank you, Mr. or Mrs., Sheila or whatever." And they're just like, I don't have the issues that I had back home in schools. Back home, I had kids that would leave in handcuffs sometimes.
Just for fun? They would just get up and take off in handcuffs?
No, the police would come and take them away.
Were you teaching in an inner city school I was unaware of? You maybe want to back up and tell people who don't know who you are where exactly you were teaching and why that would be the case.
I was teaching in a low socioeconomic school in Arizona. I don't want to be any more specific than that.
Fine. It's fine, honey. We're okay with that.
So,
right? Now, that might be happening here because you are certainly not in a low socioeconomic school here. You are in a very expensive private school in Thailand.
Yes.
You are teaching children who whose parents are rich by all.
Most of them have nannies.
Right. So this is an affluent area.
Yes.
But you're noticing that the kids are more respectful.
They are. And even like kids that I don't teach, if they see me on campus, they why and speak to me, and they're very polite.
That has a lot to do with the way that the Thai social structure is set, that if you are of a lower class, well, actually, forget class, it's an age thing.
Yeah.
Any kid who is younger is expected to weigh to a non-kid, an adult who is older than them, and that's a reverence factors built into the reality. So now, from my perspective, being the one that teaches the grown-ups, or moderately so, I don't teach kids. My people here all are working in the field are working in various fields, not as in agricultural services. You understand? I'm teaching digital marketing to these people. I get Thais that I teach sometimes, and I also get non-Thais that I teach. But I guess I'll talk to the Thais first. It's an odd thing to teach the Thais here. And to me, from an adult perspective, it is that, I'm used to the American attitude of people, which is, I already know everything, so I'm here to get a little bit of knowledge because you might know something more. Nope. It's not that way at all here. Most of them, the Thai students I have taught, even if they are well versed in what they do, they assume, because I am the teacher, I am the Arjan, rightly so, that I am deserved of their respect. I am supposed to be the person who should be revered by them.
Right.
Again, this is rightly so. But also that I've got this certain amount of knowledge inside. So I spend about the first half of my class with them, letting them know that I'm just a dude who's figured stuff out, and I got no secrets. It's just the way things are. It takes me a while to get them to really tell me what they think. Really make it a collaborative environment, because the skills I know, the skills I learned, you just don't, there's not a lot of black and white here. It's very much a gray, and I need more context. Because I think of that respectful nature between student and Arjan, teacher, there is sometimes a barrier to get that. And I have to consciously work to pull them out of that role and just into, let's just chat so I can learn more about who you are.
I struggle with some of my students. My style of teaching when a child asks a question is to ask a question back. I will very rarely answer with, oh, it's here, or, oh, this is what you're looking for. I make them think about it. And this is a struggle for the Thai students. They are very much, it's a society of, they're kind of told what to do. And so I've gotten some pushback from some of my students on, just tell me. Yeah. And the answer is always no.
That's interesting. I have a similar situation. I have learned that I can't ask a yes or no question, because I will always get the answer yes.
Right.
I will always get the answer yes. So if there's something that they've done wrong, and I will point to it, and I will say, okay, let's make this display this way.
Right.
Does that look okay? They will always say yes.
Same thing with it.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes. Right, exactly.
You cannot ask that.
You cannot ask. There are no such thing as yes and no questions here. The answer will always be yes. Always.
Right.
Just prepare for that. Now, that's the Thai students. I don't teach that many Thai students.
Right.
Because Bangkok is such a melting pot of people all over the world, and because the school that I teach at is so stinking cheap. Carl, seriously, raise your prices, dude. A lot of people from overseas will fly here, stay for sometimes 3 months at a time to get education and to get a certain skill in a certain area. So let's see, this week I taught a gal from Spain, and I taught a young gentleman from Finland. Last time I taught couple of Aussies, some French people, girl from China, girl from the Philippines. So yeah, it's a wide mix. Some of them live here full time, but many of them don't. Many just fly here to get their education. So in there, it's a totally different experience, because I can't point to one thing about these students, because they're all here to learn. It's a totally different experience when I have an international person show up, because there isn't a singular issue. Every issue there is dependent to their own individual culture.
Right.
But it's kind of a wild mix. Now, you have had international students as well. not just Thais.
The majority of my students have always been Thai, the HISO Thais.
And even those that aren't, they may not be Thai as in born here for 16, 17 generations. I mean, they're Thai, but they just may not look Thai.
Right.
But this is home to them, right?
This is home.
So they probably have a lot of the same realities as the rest of the kids. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it is kind of interesting, though, dealing with our parents.
Okay.
They have extremely high expectations, as do many, but they all talk. They all connect on the social media app called Line, and so they talk.
Oh, the parents talk amongst themselves.
Yes.
So it is not my child has an issue. They don't come talk to the teacher. They talk amongst themselves as parents first, as one collective.
And they'll come and see me as a collective.
Wow.
Yeah. They also always ask, so how did so-and-so do on their...
And so is not their child.
Yes.
Ah.
So we've had to stop. I haven't had to shut that down. No, I can't give you information about another child.
That's interesting.
And I don't know if the Thai teachers do that. I don't know if they're giving that information out.
Now, these parents that come to you in a collective or having referenced and collaborated with their collective before coming to you, they recognize you're not Thai.
Yes.
And therefore, your interaction with this HISO member of Thai society is different than, I would assume, a standard Thai teacher, because there's a respect level here. And these parents are paying lots of money because of you.
Right.
Because you are a Western teacher bringing Western ideas and typically English skills, and other elements, but mostly they want to make sure their kids speak and understand really good English so they can go to school at Harvard or somewhere else across the board. I'm assuming that brings a level of... I guess the way to say that is, I know in America sometimes you would come home bitching about the fact that, sometimes the parents just don't want to deal with it. They expect you to fix all their problems for them, and they want to be good parents at home. But I'm assuming it's different in Thailand.
It is different. So here they don't really want to acknowledge issues. So back home, we have parents who scramble to get a label assigned to a child, ADD, autism, because that gives you certain rights at school. In the educational system. Here it is just the opposite.
These kids all need to be mainstream and normal.
Nobody can be different.
Yep, conformity.
So much so that I've had issues with kids who are clearly autistic, and we do not talk about that. We do not go to the doctor.
Word.
Right. Parents who don't want to get their kids, glasses because
Reading
they might...
glasses.
Yeah, so they can see, their paper in front of them.
And they don't want to do that because...
It'll make them look funny.
It'll make them look different.
Right.
They will not be part of the collective herd.
Right.
I have none of that. I have never dealt with a parent. Nope, I've not had a parent come in and say anything like that, so I don't have anything to add to your discussion other than that's Thailand, where the individual is significantly less important than fitting into the larger collective, which that's got to be strange from an educator perspective.
It's hard. It's hard also in the classroom because nobody can lose face.
Yep.
So if a child is clearly acting out, you cannot reprimand them in front of the rest of the class. So you have to be kind of sneaky about how you do that.
God, I am so glad I don't have to worry about any of those things. Hey, let's switch. The last question he had was about our co-teachers. I believe he said the Thai teachers, which you have some engagement with Thai teachers. I have zero engagement with Thai teachers. All of my experience has been with other foreign teachers, whether those are Brits or whether they're more Americans, Canadians, a variety here. And because I teach in a field where you need a certain skill, that you're passing on these skills to others in the digital world, all of the people that I have worked with are true experts in what they do. Very few of them are actual teachers.
Right.
I would say. There are people like me who have a skill or skills and have learned ways to communicate that, but it's pretty clear that none of us are, I'll say, professional educators,
Right.
in that we lack a lot of the discipline and the rigor around doing things in a standard, normal way.
Right.
We're there to be one-on-one mentors much more than we are following set, rigid curriculum. In fact, I would say that having the concept of a strict, rigid curriculum is anathema to most of them. They just don't know
Right.
what that means.
But you and I have worked on curriculum for your stuff.
Yes, I think I bucked that trend a little.
Okay.
I won't say it's a lot, because that doing curriculum takes work, and I am lazy by nature. And if you will let me be lazy, I will take the easy path every single time. But yeah, there's not a lot of strong rigor set around the other teachers that I have personally worked with. Now, how about you, my love?
I am in charge of the foreign staff. So I do have some interaction with the Thai staff, but they are under a different department than myself. But I do have the interactions with them, because obviously in a school you have to function together.
Did you interact with the Thai teachers at the first school you were at here? Or was it a similar situation? There was a big wall. I was going to say a Chinese wall, but that might be construed as racist, so I won't say that, between the Westerns and the Thais.
So the other school was set up in departments per subjects. So all of my English teachers for that.
And you had no Thai English teachers.
Right.
That makes no sense.
Right. So all of the Chinese teachers were together, all of the Japanese teachers were together, all of the math teachers all together. So it's all based on subject.
Would math teachers, for example, be a mixture of Thai and Western teachers? Or were they teaching those subjects in an English language, so they were Western teachers?
They were all Western teachers.
So really the only Thai teachers that you have had engagement with have been people who are teaching the Thai language.
Yes.
Or I think they take social studies
Yeah.
in Thai.
And Thai dance.
Or the other handful of classes that are taught in Thai. But the
Right.
vast majority of your interaction has been Western teachers, because that's what you're here to teach.
Right.
I see.
Right.
So tell our caller what your fellow Western teachers are like, because they're not very many Americans. They're mostly other places.
It's this year we are heavy South African. We've got some UK teachers. We've got some Scottish and Irish and.
First off, who lets a
Aussie?
Scot come and teach? That you're here to teach English, and there's Scot.
Great. She's great.
Is she even close to understandable?
Yes. Yes.
What about your Aussies?
Some of them are hard to understand.
That Bogan accent is thick.
Actually, it changes when they step into the classroom.
Oh, so they can turn that off. Aha! All right, Ian, Steve, I'm talking to you guys. You can turn that off.
So, yeah, it's interesting. The kids hear a wide variety of accents throughout their day. We do English announcements, and I've got my teachers coming up and presenting those. So there's a lot of different accents that they hear throughout the day, even if they don't have that particular teacher.
What about the overall level of competency? Because I think that at least the feeling in America is that a good portion of the teachers in the American education system should maybe just start flipping burgers instead of being a teacher. They may not be all that qualified. They may not be all that fantastic. What has your experience been with Western teachers in Thailand?
They're really good. They have a worldview, which
Good.
is really nice. So it's interesting because back home, I would have taught 35 contact hours with students a week.
35 hours in the classroom with
In
them,
the
basically.
classroom, which only leaves me 5 hours
Plan
to
period.
plan,
That's like one extra. It's like a free period each week. That makes sense. Okay, yeah.
to plan and to grade.
Sure.
I saw 150 students a day. So if I assigned an essay, I had 150 essays to grade.
Why teachers bring work home, right? Okay,
Right.
understood.
So here, every teacher has less than 20 contact hours.
Wow, that's almost half
Right.
the contact hours you had previously. And they're here, they're still on campus for the same amount of time they would have been back in the
Yes.
States. But now it's time to grade papers, plan,
Exactly.
do things like that.
Exactly. So we are actually empowering our teachers to plan, and each year level teaches the same thing. So the lesson plans for English in grade 4, both teachers that teach those classes will teach exactly the same.
And that's not the way it is in America?
No.
And some of that is because you don't have the time to make that collaborative motion. Oh, I see. So I think what you're saying is teaching abroad is actually a better experience, in your opinion, than back in the States.
I think so.
It's a better job.
Yeah, I'm not stressed. My teachers, I mean, yeah, we have the same stresses, deadlines and things like that. We have other things we have to do, like where I'm at now, we have to put up exam content. So what are the concepts the kids are going to be expected to know for the exam coming up this test period?
Why wouldn't you do that back in America?
They just don't do it. I mean, it's put up on the website and everything. So,
you're sharing that information as
With
opposed
parents.
to just incorporating. I see what you mean.
Right.
So again, back to my original statement to verify one more time. You would say that your experience as a teacher is better abroad than it is
life is
domestically?
much better. Yeah.
This might be the prescient thing that I mentioned. What could we do with that information? It's kind of weird we got this question without even asking for it.
I know.
We're about to announce something that we're not doing today. Oh, you dick. You say, yes, you're right. We're not talking about it today. But one thing I did notice, honey, I think we actually answered this question.
We did.
And I didn't even derail the conversation.
No, you didn't.
Not once. Wow,
Not
that is so
once.
uncharacteristic of me.
You can be taught.
If you have questions about this, well, actually, if you have questions about this, stay tuned. We will have a big announcement coming up before too long. But anyhow, if you do have any questions whatsoever about our lives abroad, which we have been doing now for, my God, almost 3 years, crazy time, or traveling, or what's it like to be married for 30 years together and living abroad, anything you'd like to ask us, we would love to answer your question on the show as well. Just go to shevo.wtf/call us, and you can record a quick up to 90-second question, just as this one was, and we will play it on the air, and we will come back and answer the question. shevo.wtf/call us.
Our show this one time would not be possible without support from people like you. If you think our show is worthy of your financial support, Patreon makes it super easy.
Just go to shevo.wtf/Patreon and get on the list of people who throw a couple of bucks our way every month, and that keeps us doing the things that we do. And you'll hear more about those things that we do before too long. I don't want to do any leads in on this one, but it is quite interesting, and it will require some funding. So if you want to help us do that, pretty please, with sugar on it, go to shevo.wtf/Patreon and get signed up on the list. Oh, you'll get cool bonus content like the crazy story I just told, or we just told before this, about our experience trying to find tea in Chinatown.
Our music is by Valea Valea.
Thanks for listening, listener. I am Evo Terra.
And I'm Sheila D.
For more stuff, well, I've been teasing a lot. You'll have to just keep listening. Stay subscribed, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.